This is the country with Muslims but no mosques whatsoever. With a mere population of roughly 5,000, Muslims in Slovakia are a minority. The fact that there is not a single mosque in the country and no Islamic teachings in any school makes one wonder how difficult it is for Muslims to live in Slovakia. In this video, we will be taking a dig into exactly that. Firstly, to be clear, the origin of the Muslims in Slovakia traces back to the time of Turks and Ugar in the 17th century. So Slovakia did have mosques from the Ottoman period back in the day. However, with only a handful of Muslims in the state, the mosques fell to no use, resulting in their demolishing. In 2000, a proposal was presented by the Waqf Foundation to build an Islamic center in Bratislava, the capital of the country. Nevertheless, the mayor of the city rejected their proposal. Anyway, if we talk about the political elite in charge of Slovakia, they have effectively passed several legislatures since 2016, which have prevented Islam from gaining the recognition of a state religion. In 2016, the ruling party, Slovak National Party, SNS, proposed an alteration in the existing law that required religious groups in the country to have 50,000 followers to run their schools, open religious establishments, or qualify for government subsidies. The law previously required only 20,000 followers. According to official sources, this legislation was mainly to target Muslims. As suspected, 2/3 deputies, including opposition ones, voted in favor of the legislation and it became a law in 2017. Moreover, the data collected from the most recent census shows that the religious groups that fall under the required population threshold are the Roman Catholic Church, the Protestant Evangelical Church of the Augsburg Confession, the Greek Catholic Church, the Christian Reformed Church, and the Orthodox Church. No mention of Muslims or Islam here as well. In the very same year as the passing of this law, the then Prime Minister Robert Fico made a statement in which he clearly said that Islam had no place in Slovakia and that he wished that there weren't tens of thousands of Muslims. Moving on 30th November 2016, another law was passed which blocked Islam from gaining official status as a religion in the country. Even before 2016, during the peak of the migrant crisis in 2015, Slovakia took in 200 Christians, but refused entry to any Muslim refugee. On this biased behavior, the Interior Minister remarked, "We want to help Europe with the migration issue. We could take 800 Muslims, but we don't have any mosques in Slovakia. So how can Muslims be integrated if they're not going to like it here?" Other Slovakian politicians have also been vocal about their point of view of Islam from time to time. For instance, in 2016, the SNS chairman, Andrej Danko, strongly expressed his opposition to Islamization by saying that it begins with a kebab, but can turn into something really dangerous in the next 5 or 10 years. He also reiterated the government's commitment to ensuring that no mosque will be built in future Slovakia. So who is this Andrej Danko? He has been the Speaker of the National Council of the Slovak Republic from 2016 to 2020. He held his position for 4 years, and during the elections of 2020, he sank to the complete bottom with his little political party. As he was far from being elected, he left politics because people didn't like him. The internet is full of memes making fun of him and his speeches. These speeches have been representing Slovakia in the foreign media for the last few years, and still are. Eventually, they were kicked out by the Slovak people having enough of them. Well, that was how the political leadership of Slovakia has treated Islam in the recent times. But what about the Muslim inhabitants of the country? How oppressed do they really feel? Let's find out. According to a 42-year-old Syrian translator, she moved to Slovakia back when she was 19. She founded an Islamic foundation and got married to a Slovak. Today, she proudly calls herself a Slovak too. Another Slovak Muslim, a born Afghan, is living in Slovakia since the 90s. He has been helping foreigners to adapt to Slovakian life for quite some time now, and he is awed by how Slovakia has progressed so fast in a relatively short period of time. He says that most of the foreign Muslims in Slovakia come to study medicine and later work as doctors and get married to Slovakian women. He further says that as a Muslim, he has never faced any kind of discrimination and that there are prayer houses everywhere, including Bratislava, Martin, Nitra, Luchinec, and Košice, with everything needed inside. So the fact that mosques are not allowed to be built in the country doesn't bother him, nor should it bother any other Muslim. Despite the testimonials and the fact that the politicians mentioned in this video are far gone from mainstream politics of the country, it can't be denied that the atmosphere they created still persists in Slovakia. Muslims still are far from being given equal rights or recognized as one of the religious factions of the country. They can't have religious leaders, nor can they carry out Muslim marriages similar to civil ones. Also, with no official mosques, the Muslim community in Slovakia has no option but to meet and hold their prayers in rental houses or temporary prayer rooms, something that has much greater symbolism than practical implication. The fact that the country's Muslim population is so tiny shows that the issue may not actually be a real issue, but merely a politically motivated agenda where a minority is scapegoated for problems that don't exist.